Hello, welcome to I Study Circle. In the part 1 of this test migration or Dadan, we had discussed the different angles and aspects of Dadan labor, that is this test migration of Western Odisha. But the government of Odisha had identified 14 districts from which labor migration takes place. And also in part 1, I had clarified that the nature of this labor migration is different in different parts of Odisha. And all migrated laborers cannot be called as Dadan laborers. Now, also, categorically I had stated that there is a misconception or misunderstanding regarding the meaning of Dadan, and people say that even laborers going from Ganjam and southern parts of Odisha are also Dadan. There is a distinction between the distressed labor, that is Dadan, going from Western Odisha from Balangir, Kalahandi, Nuapada, and those who are migrating from the southern area, mostly from Ganjam, Gajapati. In this part, let's discuss the migration from southern Odisha, that is from Ganjam and Gajapati districts. Migration from these two districts is short time duration of migration, a short duration migration. Neither it is seasonal nor can it be considered a Dadan. Why? Here people migrate for livelihood purposes temporarily by leaving their native places. Again, as in case of Western Odisha, in a particular season, that is mostly from September to June. In this particular season, in Kalahandi, Balangir and Nuapada, the laborers migrate. But here, in Ganjam and Gajapati, they do not migrate in a particular season. And even they are not engaged in any seasonal activities, unlike the case of seasonal migrants from Western Odisha. They do not migrate with intermediaries or agents, nor do they take any advance amount from any intermediary or from the employer. That is one of the most vital difference one has to understand. That in case of Western Odisha distressed migration, they are pushed to leave their places because they have taken an advance, a bulk advance amount from sardars, the intermediary, the mediators. But in case of southern districts of Ganjam and Gajapati, there is no such intermediary, or nor do they take any amount of advance for going to outside. So that is why this migration cannot be considered as a Dadan. Again, the migration from Western Odisha is distressed because they are compelled to go, since they have entered into a tacit understanding or implicit understanding or contract with the Sardar by taking money from them. But here, they, in Ganjam and Gajapati, they migrate at their own will. So there is a voluntary migration. Whereas in case of Western Odisha, we can call it as a compulsive migration. Labor workers from the southern districts mostly migrate to Gujarat and Kerala. Majority of them are skilled workers, unlike the case in Western Odisha. Yes, definitely the lack of employment opportunities and low wages are also the main cause of migration in these districts too. But it is only a component of distress migration. Mostly in the southern districts, the migration is driven by aspirations to earn more money or more income, to improve their economic condition, to improve their standard of living. That is, because of pull factors, migration takes place in the southern districts of Ganjam and Gajapati. Whereas in western Odisha, they are the push factors. That is, not only there is lack of employment opportunities, but also their socio-economic condition is very wretched and poor. And there was no alternative available employment opportunities. Their poverty, their socio-economic hierarchy, all these factors push them out from their native place to the outside state. So this is the difference. They mostly push factors work in Western Odisha, whereas pull factors to earn or increase the standard of living work in the southern districts of Ganjam and Gajapati. They primarily they go to Gujarat and Kerala, the southern states workers, leveraging their social networks. Neither they are recruited through contractors, nor do they receive any advance. The dominant share in this pool of migration, again, mark here, there is a distinction, clear distinction. The dominant share in this pool of migration in the southern states is from OBCs, socially advantaged, who are socially advantaged groups who migrate to Gujarat and work in textile and power looms. Whereas in Western Odisha, 70 to 80% of the migrant workers are from SC and ST communities. While mostly Adivasi and Dalits from the southern districts, they migrate to Kerala. The main reason for their migration is to increase their savings. It is very often found that the remittances are being used in building and renovating their houses in the native place and to invest in agriculture to get more yields. Nature of work in the destination is casual without any social security coverage. In the destination, they work 8 hours a day on average, drawing a monthly wage of about 15 to 18,000 rupees. And they receive their wages monthly in cash. Again, here there is a stark difference between the laborers of Western Odisha who migrate, who don't receive a monthly income. There is nothing like an assured payment to be received. But here there is an assured payment, and the level of income earned and the hours of work done by both in Western Odisha and Southern laborers is also different. Here, the laborers from the Western Odisha, they had to work even for 14 to 15 to 16 hours a day sometimes. They mostly live in rented houses, whereas the Western Odisha laborers, they live in plastic huts or some like that, cottages. Here, the living condition of the workers who have migrated from the southern districts are far better than the living conditions of the laborers who migrate from the western Odisha to the southern states like Andhra, Telangana, etc. The those who migrate to Gujarat and Kerala from Gajapati and Ganjam, they live in rented houses with access to drinking water, even a functional toilet. They pay a rent of around 1,000 per month, and 6 to 7 workers share one room. So the living condition is far better than the workers of the Western Odisha who live in the destination in a very wretched condition. It is found that migration remittances contribute towards reducing poverty of the households because of the help of the migrants in southern districts, which help the households to clear up the past debts and as well as to save something more to improve their housing and asset base, which provide better education for children and elevating their status in the locality. What are the problems faced by migrants? Lack of social security. Migrant workers often lack access to healthcare, education, and housing due to their temporary status and informal employment. Number two, they are subject to exploitation and wage disparity. They usually get low wages. They work in very unsafe, insecure working conditions, and they are being exploited because of the lack of unionization and awareness regarding their rights. Thirdly, their identity and legal issues. The migrants struggle to obtain their identity proofs and accessing to their entitlements like ration cards often tied to their home states. Fourth, cultural and social alienation, language barriers, discrimination, poor integration into local communities result in social isolation. Fifth, they also face health and safety risks. The unsanitary living conditions, lack of access to medical facilities, and occupational hazards endanger the health and safety of the migrant workers. Now, let's see what can be the remedial measures. After the BJP government came to power in Odisha, now on a task force has been constituted by the government of Odisha on 14th October 2024, which is headed by the Deputy Chief Minister KV Singh Dev, who belongs to Balangir district, from which the largest number of migration takes place. Dadan migration is highest, that is most Dadan prone district. So he is rightly chosen as to lead the task force on Dadan. Let's see what the task force will suggest the remedies, but what we want to suggest our remedial measures. Number one, regarding policy interventions, a portable social security. Now, one nation card declared by the government has ensured access to benefits irrespective of location. But in practice, whether it is duly providing benefits to the migrant workers or not, are to be meticulously supervised by the government authorities. B. Labor laws. To strengthen enforcement of minimum wage laws and the worker protection policies in the destination places. Secondly, skill development and employment. Within this category, A provides skill training and certificate programs tailored to industries employing seasonal migrants. B. Try to promote job creation in rural areas to reduce the impact of push factors which are driving towards distressed migration. Thirdly, infrastructure development in rural areas would enable to enhance livelihood opportunities and that would reduce the migration pressure. Number 4, emphasis upon health and education. Setting up mobile units and education programs for children of migrants in destination areas would certainly help these workers, these socio-economically disadvantaged workers, to become aware regarding different conditions of work. Fifth, awareness and unionization. Educate migrants about their rights and facilitate unionization to protect them against all types of exploitation. Sixth, there must be proper data collection and research. The government must maintain a comprehensive database that from which one can know the migration patterns, so that on the basis of that informed policy decisions can be undertaken. Seventh, strengthening the Panchayat Raj institutions. Government must take direct steps to equip local bodies to act as resource centers for information and support to migrant workers. Addressing distress migration requires a multi-pronged approach involving coordination among states, central government, NGOs, and civil society. With targeted policies and grassroots efforts, India can transform migration from a survival strategy into a driver of sustainable growth and development. Thanks.